Welcome to today's episode of Beyond the Numbers, the show where we break down finance and numbers in a way for everyone to understand it. In today's episode, I have a key player in the industry, Senior Vice President of Investment Banking at Barita Investments Limited, Miss Terise Kettle, who's going to tell me all about the latest bond offering and what that means for investors. Hi Terise, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So, tell us a little bit more about Barita Investment and its role in the financial landscape.
Okay, so it would be remiss of me not to talk about the history of Barita Investments Limited, right? So any investor needs to understand exactly what and who it is investing in. So Barita Investments Limited is a publicly traded company on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. We're owned by Cornerstone, 75% by Cornerstone Financial Holdings Limited. The company was started by Rita Humphreys Lewin in 1977, and we have the distinction of being one of the oldest, and you could say one of the first financial brokerage houses in Jamaica. We are a full-service investment banking firm, asset management firm, brokerage, and we service our clients island-wide through our offices in Kingston, Mandeville, and Montego Bay. As at September 30th, 2024, our total assets under management stood at $405 billion, right? Okay. So that's a little bit about us. In addition to that, we are a regulated entity. So we are regulated by the Financial Services Commission, right? So we have a securities dealer's license, so therefore we answer to the FSC. In addition to that, Barita, a lot of people don't know this, and I have to talk about this. We have a Cambio, and we have a Cambio license. Yeah. And because of that, we are also regulated by the Bank of Jamaica. And because we're listed on a Jamaica Stock Exchange, Barita was listed on a Jamaica Stock Exchange in 2010. And because of that, we follow the guidelines and rules of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. So we answer to the FSC, we answer to the DOJ, and we also answer to the JSE.
That's a lot of bosses.
Yes, yeah, man. So, you know, it's really important, especially now in the financial services landscape. You have to feel comfortable and confident in the financial institution that you are affiliated to. And of course, if you're going to be investing, you also want to feel comfortable as well.
Of course, you need to know that our money is, of course, secure.
Yes.
So that's
yes.
Good. How would you explain a bond in simple terms?
All right, to explain a bond in simple terms, and this is for anybody to understand what is a bond. A bond is pretty much a loan to the issuer, and in this case, that is Barita Investments Limited. So just imagine you are lending money to Barita Investments Limited in order for us to achieve our strategic imperatives, right? And in this case, we're focusing primarily on business expansion. So that's going to be the overall use of proceeds, right? So we're looking to increase and improve our liquidity. That would help us to be further, bolster our capitalization, especially in the financial services industry at this point in time. In addition to that, we have a strong pipeline as it relates to our investment banking deal flow. And what we're doing, we're creating what is termed as dry powder or additional resources to help us to help other businesses. So on the investment banking side of the things, what do? We raise capital and we provide strategic advice to our clients. So what it is that we're doing, we're generating the necessary liquidity in order for us to now off-lend to some of those entities in order to help those entities grow from a strategic perspective as well.
Oh, I think that...
Understood?
So
a bond is just a loan, just a financial terminology for a loan that you're going to get repaid with interest.
I think that pretty much explains it, if I should say so myself. Yeah. So who is the ideal investor for this bond? What factors should they consider as well?
So I think the ideal investor is anybody looking to accelerate their wealth potential. Anybody who would not have started their investment journey, people who would have already started their investment journey, and also corporate entities who are looking for, a sound opportunity for their pension funds. If it is that you are an individual and you're looking to, let's say, for example, you want to purchase a house, or if you want to purchase a car, if it is that you want to save for your children's education, if it is that you want to save for your retirement, what we would have done in the overall bond structure and the loan to Barita is that we would have done a market read, and in that market read, we would have found that there are varying tenors and varying investment opportunities that people are looking for. So for example, people are looking to invest in US dollar bonds, and people are also looking to invest in Jamaican dollar bonds. Some people are looking to invest in a shorter tenured bond, and some people are actually looking for a longer tenured bond. And because of this, that's why it is that we have the tranches, or what we'd want to term as the options for the bond itself, right? So look at tranches as the options. So let's say you're hungry and you go to a restaurant and they give you a menu, and the menu has on all of these different options. So these 7 tranches represent the options available to you as an investor to go out there and invest, right? So we have a 2-year option up to a 10-year option. So we have 2 US dollar options, which are tranches, or the options 1 and 2. And we also have a Jamaican dollar. We have 5 other Jamaican dollar options, which range from 2 years to 10 years. So we're catering to everybody and everybody's needs. One thing about Barita, right, and I really want to stress this, is that we're very big on democratizing wealth. What does that mean? Is that we want to ensure that wealth is accessible to everybody, right? So and that's why it is that we did the market read, because we really and truly wanted to give the investors the opportunity to invest, right? We talk about it, but no, we really just have to do the do. And this is doing the do from the perspective that we listened and we're creating the investment opportunities and the various options for people to invest. So I believe that it is open to everybody. And because of that, the minimum amount, it starts at $500 US. And on the Jamaican dollar side, the minimum amount as well is $50,000. You don't necessarily have to do as low as $500 on the US dollar side, or $50,000 on Jamaican dollar side. It really depends on your overall investment horizon, your perspective, what it is that you want to get out of it. If you have additional funding and you want to place it on a sound investment, this is an option for you.
That sounds really good to me. And so what are some of the key benefits of investing in this bond?
So there are many benefits for investing in a bond, right? The first is that you're going to be investing in a sound financial institution. And it's not just me saying so because I work at Barita. Carrie Chris, an independent regional credit rating agency, would have said this. They would have come in December 2024 and given us an A+ credit rating, right? So they would have looked at all of the qualitative and quantitative factors. They would have looked at our financial performance, projections in terms of how it is that we anticipate that we should be performing in the future. They would have looked at all of our policies, our governance framework. They would have looked at the human capital, that encompasses the business, and they would have come up with their own independent credit rating. And it's very important for investors to understand who they're investing in and what you're getting when you invest in the Barita bond. You're investing in a sound financial institution. In addition to that, the Barita bond creates an opportunity for you to diversify your revenue streams, right? So if it is that you would have invested in stocks, or if it is that you would have invested in other bonds, it creates another opportunity for you to get another fixed income opportunity, where it is that you're going to be getting quarterly payments of interest, and you can actually use that to invest in other opportunities provided by Barita, of course, for you to create and generate additional wealth for you and your family. In addition to that, we're going to be publicly listing the bonds on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. What does that do? It creates liquidity for you, so that if it is that, let's say, for example, you would have invested in the 10-year bond or the 5-year bond, and something happens and you need to get access to the cash. You have the Jamaica Stock Exchange and you have the bonds being traded on Jamaica Stock Exchange, which allows you and creates a liquid market for you to go ahead, liquidate your position, and then come back in at another time that is opportune for you.
So if I lend you my money,
yes,
something comes up and I might need it back before the time that I said you can give it back. There's always a way for trading.
Yeah, publicly traded. It's going to be listed, and therefore it's publicly traded on the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
All right, so we're out here creating wealth. All right, so we go now right now for a short break, but don't move, stay with us. More on the Barita bond offer. Welcome back to Beyond the Numbers. I am Whitney McCoy. Now, if you're just joining us, we're talking with Ms. Terise Kettle. She's the Senior Vice President of Investment Banking at Barita Investments Limited, and she's telling us about their latest bond offer. Very exciting things happening. So, Terise, what is the expected return on investment and over what time frame?
Okay, so we have 7 options, and we believe that all 7 are very attractive to investors, right? So whether you're just starting your investment journey or you're very experienced or you're a large corporation, we believe that there's an option there for you. We have 2 US dollar options, and we have a 2-year that's priced at 7%, and we have a 3-year that's priced at 7.5%. On the Jamaican dollar side, we have 5 options, right? We have a 2, 3, 5, 7, and 10-year option. For the 2-year option, that's priced at 9.75%. For the 3-year, that's priced at 10%. For the 5-year, that's priced at 10.5%. For the 7-year, that's priced at 10.75%. And for the 10-year, that's priced at 10.9%, right? So wherever it is that you are in your investment journey, how long it is that you want to invest, whether you're looking for a US dollar option or a Jamaican dollar option, we have an opportunity there for you, an attractive investment opportunity there for you.
So that's a broad menu. It's a wide array. I'm sure there's something there for everyone.
I'm glad you use the word menu.
So if I give you my money, you say it's a loan, right?
Yes.
I give you the loan. How will the funds from this bond be utilized? How will you use my money?
So that's a good question, right? And investors need to understand exactly what it is that they're investing in. So the use of proceeds, what are we going to be using the money for from the bond proceeds? We're going to be using it for business expansion purposes, right? Only 2% of the amount that we're raising is going to be used to refinance debt. The debt that we are refinancing is roughly about $84 million. Everything else is going to be used to bolster the liquidity in the business and to help to accelerate the robust investment banking pipeline of deals that we have, right? So in Barita Investments Limited, in the investment banking side of the business, what do? We raise capital and we provide strategic advice for businesses. So businesses will come to us, we'll arrange the funding, and we have a very broad and robust pipeline of opportunities, of funding opportunities that we want to use some of that money for.
Sounds good.
Yes.
So you can say that that's your money did that. should you invest? And you said that the minimum was 50,000 for the Jamaican dollars.
Right, 50,000 and US 500 for the US dollar tranches.
For the US.
So that's very affordable. And as I said before, look at your own horizon. Look at what are some of the goals that you have for yourself and your family. And if it is that you can invest more, you should look at investing more, because the more that you invest, the greater the return for you, right? So it's very important that you have that conversation, and feel free to come in and talk to the Barita team who will facilitate you on your investment journey.
Of course. And how does this bond compare to other investment opportunities currently available?
So I'm happy you asked that question, because the truth is that there are several other investment opportunities that are out there, right? So you have stocks that are out there that you can actually invest in if it is that you want to take on that risk. There are other bonds, there are private bonds as well if it is that you want to take on that risk. Now, what does the Barita bond bring to the clients, right? As I said before, you are investing in a company, a sound company. We would have received a CARICRIS A+ rating, right? And in any scheme of things, that is going to be considered a sound and a good rating, right? An investment grade rating from CARICRIS, which is very good for us. Now, in addition to that, the bonds itself, usually when you invest in bonds, they're private, and there is not a liquid market for you to, let's say, for example, you have some unforeseen need for cash, and you want to sell a portion of the bond, you don't readily have that market there. What we would have done, and this is a first for Barita, we are listing the bonds on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. So, right, these are public bonds. So what it does, it creates a market for you to trade those bonds, right? So you are investing now, but let's say a year from now, 2 years from now, if you would have invested in one of the longer term bonds, you can actually liquidate through the stock exchange. And because they're listed, you're creating a liquid market for the tradability of the bonds. So that's something unique. And in addition to the fact that they're attractively priced.
Of course, very attractive. So, I mean, in any business, there are usually risks associated. What are the risks associated with committing to this bond?
So with any investment, and you said it right, there are risks, right? And one of the good things about bonds versus equity investments, right? If you invested in stocks on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, you could potentially lose your original capital that you would have deployed. What bonds do for you is that it preserves the capital, right? It's a way of capital preservation, because you are investing and you're getting interest on top of it, right? And you are promised, based on the terms of the bond, that you will get back your principal at maturity, right? So the risks associated with bonds are that there's credit risk. There's credit risk that Barita may or may not be able to repay that facility at maturity. And you can be rested assured that we would be able to, because all of our historical debt obligations have been serviced in line with agreement, right? In addition to that, Caracas came in and they did their own assessment of Barita, and they gave us an A+ credit rating. We're also lowly leveraged. We also have a significant amount of capital when you compare us to others, right? And because of that as well, we have the ability to withstand any unforeseen shocks. So there is credit risk there, but what we would have done, we would have built in the fact that we'd have gone ahead, gotten our independent credit rating. So therefore, you can rest assured that you're investing in a sound and stable financial institution. In addition to that, what it is that we would have identified, and we spoke a little bit about this, is that there's usually liquidity risk as it relates to bonds. So we would have eliminated that risk by making the bonds accessible and tradable and public on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, right? So there's usually liquidity risk. You may want to exit, but there's not a ready market there available for private bonds, right? So what we would have done, we've made them public. It's going to be listed. Upon closure, they're going to be listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. So therefore, we're creating that open market for the trading of that bond. So just like stocks, if it is that, you decide that, it's time for you to exit and move on to another opportunity, the market is there for you to go ahead and liquidate your investment.
Awesome. And when does the bond open and when does it close?
So the bond opened on March 28th, 2025, and it closes on May 26th, 2025. But I would encourage everybody to, start. The response that we would have gotten so far has been very positive. It has been very sound. And what we have been doing as well, we're using this as a part of our own financial education. You'd be surprised, a lot of people really and truly don't know what a bond is, and we're using this as an opportunity to educate the public about investing. What is a bond? What is a tranche? What is interest rates? Things like that, to make sure that they understand exactly what it is that they're getting into. And in addition to that, I can't end this conversation without talking about the fact that you need to read the prospectus. We have the prospectus that is out on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. It's also out on the Barita website. And in conjunction to listening to this conversation that we're having here, we're going to encourage all investors to go out there and read the prospectus that is listed on the Barita website and also on the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
So say I'm a potential investor who has taken a look at the menu and I've chosen what I want. Where can I find more details, or how can I get involved in this bond offer?
All right, so there are many ways that you can go about getting more information and actually sending in your application. So the first one is for you to go to barita.com/bond. There it is that you'll get access to the prospectus, and it will lead you to baritaboss.com, which allows you to complete the application form, right? So it is baritaboss.com, so it's baritaboss.com, right? So that's one way you can do it. In addition to that, we always advise you to have some conversation with a licensed professional, right? Which is typically an investment advisor. So we're encouraging you to have a conversation. Our investment advisors are happy to come to you and explain to you exactly what investment is that you're getting into. They're happy to have that conversation with you. In addition to that, we also have our selling agents who would have indicated their support of this offer, right? So we have FHC Investments, we have JMMB as our partner, we have JN Fund Managers, we have Proven Wealth, we have Scotia Investments, and we have VM Wealth on board as selling agents. In addition to that, the other brokers that are out there who may not have been listed here, they can also facilitate the completion of your transactions as well.
Okay, so if I already have a broker that I'm working with,
Yes.
they can possibly assist with me.
Yes, but we're encouraging you to come out and open a Barita account, right? Because this is one of many other opportunities that are going to be coming to the market from Barita.
All right. Well, thank you, Ms. Terise.
Thank you, Whitney, for having me.
Of course, thank you for joining us. All right, so that was it for this episode of Beyond the Numbers. But don't move, stay tuned. More after this.